Tight end university. That seems to be the consensus among most pundits. Even Travis Kelce at some pre-Super Bowl press conferencing today made a comment about Sam Laporta and George Kittle. There's no question Iowa has dominated as it relates to tight end development over recent years. So there's no question as to why a really good tight end, especially a really good tight end from the state of Iowa, would want to attend the University of Iowa. Clear Lake's Thomas Meyer has committed to the Hawkeyes. We'll talk about the implications of four-star tight end, and that room is going to be loaded for several years to come. We'll talk about it in just a second, but first, a reminder to check out the artwork that's being done by Randy Engel down in Mitchellville. I mentioned yesterday he will be down at the state wrestling tournament, Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines, but you can also check his stuff out on Facebook. Search Under the Kitchen on Facebook. Also, he's got a website. It's underthekitchen.square.site. That's underthekitchen, all one word, .square.site. Appreciate Randy Engel and his authentic Hawkeye artwork. So Thomas Meyer has committed to the Hawkeyes. He is a four-star recruit, and deservedly so. This young man is an athlete, really good basketball player, a really good defensive end for Clear Lake High School, listed at about 6'5", 210 pounds. And you watch him on film, he is a big kid. I mean, looks big, plays big. I have questions about his route running. I pretty much say that almost about any tight end, with the exception maybe being Addison Estringa. I remember thinking his route running was at least decent. He played some wide receiver in high school. But Thomas has really good feet for a guy his size and really good hands for a guy his size. You see him on tape making tough catches in traffic. He is going to be the type of guy that can be used in the red zone effectively. Big hands, already 6'5". He may grow some more. And he was actually part of Iowa's junior day here recently. If you recall, yesterday, we did a video on Carson Cooney, linebacker, who committed to the Hawkeyes out of Illinois. As it relates to Meyer, he had over 400 total receiving yards this past year, 8 touchdowns. And again, he's also a really good defensive end. In fact, there were other schools recruiting him to play defensive end. And he was quoted over at HawkeyeReport.com as saying that he was a little surprised when Iowa wanted him as a tight end. And apparently they were open to him playing defensive end if that was his preference. But they obviously really liked him. And it sounds like Jay Neiman was the primary recruiter for Thomas Meyer. Now, he's the number 15 tight end nationally in the 2025 class, according to On3. As I mentioned, stands out his tape, his size, his ability to make catches in traffic. He has shown a willingness on tape to block. I would have to think that a guy who played defensive end in high school has more of the acumen to block, but I don't know that that's the case. I think a lot of tight ends end up playing defensive line in high school. And, you know, a guy like Noah Fant at one time was considered a defensive end prospect, and there was at least talk that he was not the best blocker at Iowa. But this kid shows a willingness to block on tape. And again, just a really good skill set, very highly thought of, had other offers from some of the best tight end schools in the country, including not just Iowa, but Miami, Florida. Minnesota's had really good tight ends they offered. Wisconsin has had really good tight ends they offered. How about Nebraska, Kansas State, Missouri, Duke, Texas A&M, Stanford, Kansas? Bunch of great offers, and Thomas Meyer is a Hawkeye. So Iowa off to another solid start for the 2025 class now, and still pretty early, but it's been a good week for Iowa football recruiting. Expect that momentum to continue during a pivotal time for that class here as we enter the month of February. We will have press conference coverage. Yes, I will be down in Iowa City for the introductory press conference for new OC Tim Lester. Should be an entertaining day down in Iowa City. I'll be live with Mark Rogers over at our sister channel, Iowa Football, at the Voice of College Football on YouTube at 4:30 p.m. Central Time Tuesday, giving my reaction to the press conference, and we'll probably publish something here on this channel from the Hawkeye of the Storm as well. Stay tuned. Lots coming, folks. Appreciate you tuning in from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Have a good night.